Today, my guest is LaDonna Lockard, and she has so much to share with you about exciting things in her business. But before we get started, I think you have a question for me.
I sure do. I wanted to ask you about this book to the side of you. What is this?
Okay, so I'm very excited. I just launched a new book called Origination Boost. So if those of you that have been in the industry since the taper tantrum of 22, when the rates went up, and you're wondering how you get back in the game of the mortgage business and you can win in any market, this book is for you. Or if your mindset's a little bit off and you need just that pick me up, or you need the playbook in order to win, this book should give that to you. I interviewed 16 loan officers across the country. I feature 8 of them in the book, and they are all top producers, and they share their stories and how they overcame challenges. So if you're looking for that in your career, this is the book for you. And exciting stuff, you can get the ebook for 99 cents for a limited time. And if you go to originationboost.com, we'll even send you a copy of the audio book. So very cool. Thank you so much for asking the question. Yeah, very exciting times for me.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Well, and I hear exciting things for you as well. You just launched a business. So let's start there because I'm just fascinated to hear how you got to this part of your journey in your career.
I did. It's been a lot, Mandy. I'll be honest with you. This year has thrown all sorts of surprises my way. I actually just posted about it, so I don't mind talking about it here. I've recently gone through a divorce. I walked away from a business that I was building for 2 years that I literally had started up from scratch in the same line of work that I'm now starting up another business. And sometimes you get to that place where you realize the partnerships that you thought you wanted just maybe aren't aligned anymore with what you are seeing for yourself, with what you want to achieve. And it's been tough. It's been tough. It was a lot to walk away. Both, of course, obviously were labors of love. One was a much longer commitment than the other, but they have both been areas of my life that have consumed so much of my time. We're talking decades. I've been in the mortgage education field now for 15 years, and I thought I had really found my home. And again, it's okay. Changes happen. But this time I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it myself. I'm doing it just on this girl. Let's make it happen. I made a commitment where I said before, I could build in 2 years what took me 10 years to build at my previous company. And then when I started this, I said I can build in 3 months what it took me 2 years to build in that company. It's been 2 months of building. And by the end of this month, I'll be launching with my entire CE suite. So I'm like, I meant it. I meant it when I said it. You give me 3 months, I will make it happen. So it's huge. It's huge. It's a
Well, I
lot of
feel you
changes.
because I talk about misalignment, in your life. And sometimes those misalignments can hold you back from your greatness, I think. And so letting those things go, you find your best self, I think. And in the heart of losing both, maybe the opportunity of that business that you helped build and a marriage that you thought would last forever, you find that in the darkness of that space that you find who you are and you find your own strength. And I think that's a beautiful thing in and of itself. So I props to you for, going through that and then not quitting, right? I think it would have been easier just to say no, thank you and go find another job. Yeah.
Yeah, that is not who this girl is. I'm like, absolutely not. I will figure it out. I made a commitment and I will honor that commitment to myself. I deserve better. I want better. I'll find better.
Yeah. Where do you find that organically in yourself? Is it a tribe around you that helps you have that belief? What is it that helps you know that you can do and be better?
Definitely a tribe around me. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine trying to do this completely on my own. I have a phenomenal team. I have phenomenal best friends. And as I've gotten older, those circles have obviously become smaller and smaller, but it's like there's been this refinement that has occurred, where now instead of the masses, I'm like, oh no, I have my little niche few people around me, but they are the strongest powerhouses. And the way that they believe in me, the way that they speak life into me has been what has kept me running. It really has. And I remember starting out the last company where we were on the road consistently. Last year I had 49 business trips and I thought it would break me. I really did. At one point, it kind of did. Like I broke my foot and had to just keep going. I broke a rib twice and had to just keep going. And it was that feeling of like, no one is going to do this for you. No one is going to believe in it the way that you will believe in it. And I've carried that with me every single morning where like I now lay in bed and do my little morning mantra where I'm like, you are that woman. You are going to do those things. You know what you believe in, you know what you want. It is up to you to make them happen. And I feel like everyone right now within this industry can relate to that. If you're still in this, there's a reason why.
There had to be a fire in your belly to keep going on days when the feds, then I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I'm just going to turn the news off. It's not very fun today. They're like, rates are 7% or what have you. And I'm like, okay, giddy up. I mean, when the tough get going, the tough get tougher and they just work harder. And that's what I found in the last, 4 years of this business, but 30 years, and you've been in it 15. So you've seen many waves of great and not great in this business and ebb and flows of hundreds of loan officers flooding into the industry and then many, many exiting. So you've seen that whole flow. I find it interesting that you've had this kind of challenge of a year and you've still risen to greatness. And I want to go back to one thing. What is your why? Like, when on those hard days when you had the broken rib or the foot and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get on another plane. What was the why that just like kept you going?
I have two. I have my daughter. I have a 13-year-old who is just the light of my life. And same thing, I'm really big on honoring those commitments that I make to myself. I made a commitment with her that I would give her the best life that I possibly could. And I maintain that every single day. But my other is this industry within and of itself, the students that I serve. I made a commitment to change the way that people think about mortgage education, to change the way that they think of education as a whole within this industry. And I plan to keep that commitment. I want people to look at it differently. I want them to expect better of their education providers. I want them to walk away saying, oh my God, I learned something. The amount of classes that I've had where I've had people who have come to me and said, I've been in this for 30 years. You taught me something I did not know. That was a first for me. It happens all the time. And that is something that I hold so closely to my chest because that is what this industry is calling for right now. We do need to diversify. We do need to get strategic. We need to be looking things a little bit differently than what we have the last 4+ years. So I've been on this side for 15, but I've been in the industry as a whole for 22. So I'm like, I have seen exactly what you were talking about. I got into it in 2004 and I was just a baby running title documents back and forth. But it took a hold of me for that reason. I've seen the way that this industry changes lives. I've seen the way that people who maybe didn't go for traditional education have been able to provide amazing lives for their families. Yes. And it's so inspiring to get to see that and to get to work with it within the masses. Originators get to change lives in that they get to get people into homes. That is one of the most incredible and rewarding things that you can do. We get to help you change their lives by bringing together different programs that maybe you haven't heard of, that you weren't aware of. I actually just did a training yesterday on talking about HEMAPs within Pennsylvania. And there are these loans where they can help people through the foreclosure process to save their house. that's a huge thing for a borrower in need that so many people probably don't even know about. So having that opportunity to really make a difference is exactly why I wake up and do this. No one woke up as a first grader and was like, you know what, I can't wait to do? I can't wait to go into mortgage education. Like, no, this
Uh,
industry has not been reserved for women, particularly. There aren't a lot of women within it. And really trying to change that mindset of what it looks like and how you can learn has been everything to me.
well, tell me the name of your new adventure. Tell me the name of your new company. I want to hear all about that. And then I noticed that the MBA is also featuring you as one of the educators for their new program that they're launching to really engage loan officers. So let's talk about both those things. Name of your company and how you got that opportunity with the MBA, which is very cool.
I know this is so fun because this is the first time I get to publicly say this. My new company is Locked In Learning. I wanted a little play on my name, and I really love the mindset of locking in. It's exactly what I just described of let's lock in together. Let's sort through these things. Let's figure it out. Let's crack the code. Let's lock in. We can do it. So, locked in learning. And
Love it.
yes, the MBA opportunity is massive. So David Uppen, who is just one of my favorite people, I used to call him my favorite frenemy, but we've healed our relationship fully. We're now just friends. He came to me and said, "Hey, the MBA is kind of toying with this idea." And this was months and months ago. And having these conversations with him, letting everything kind of evolve at the time, still with my previous company, and being really proud of the fact that I had built a 5-star provider in this space within 2 years with 300 student reviews on Google. I was like, not to toot my own horn, but your girl knows what she's doing. And had to demonstrate some other areas of proficiency, obviously. He came out and actually watched one of my classes that we put on. And so it was this process of really having to prove myself. No favors were given. We wanted to make sure that the best of the best were the ones getting this opportunity. And there was conversation in between of, hey, we're considering a couple other providers. I can't even tell, like, the amazing things that I have to say about those providers, and I mean it. They are fantastic at what they also do, but there's room in this industry to find what works for you, to find whose voice works for you, and to find what education actually resonates with you. So I am in fantastic company. I am beyond honored for the opportunity, and I can't wait to see what it does. It's the first time the NBA has tried offering CE through providers. It's
Yeah,
huge. I'm not
yeah.
going to blow it.
I'm not sure it's public information, so we're just telling stories here, it's telling secrets. David called me too, and he was sharing the program with me and sharing that it would be training, education, coaching, and really to be boots on the ground to get to the loan officers that are on the street. I think that the MBA has been a fantastic vehicle, to lobby for the mortgage space. And now they've come to the street to help loan officers that are right there with the home buyers and to help encourage them and grow their businesses, which I think is awesome. And I ended up meeting him because I'm such a fan of Empower, the event that they host right before the MBA. So I ended up meeting him through that opportunity. And I just think that the MBA is really embracing the loan officers. So congratulations on being one of those that were selected to provide education. I couldn't agree more. You have such an abundant mindset. And I think that that is key to winning, right? And you're like, there's plenty of room for all of us to be in this space, but I'm very excited about that. And congratulations. That's a fantastic opportunity for you. And I think that your name will get out there, right? It's faster than maybe just marketing yourself online. So congratulations. You had to be doing something right all along your career to have that opportunity given to you right off the bat with your new company. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you. It means the world to me. It really does. I'm like, yes, the name is new, but
But
I've
you're
got
not new.
this. I'm not
Yeah.
new. Like we
Yeah.
will figure it out. We will make it so good. And I'm so with you. The MBA is such a phenomenal resource within this industry. They are, I almost feel like because they are such a staple and they're so synonymous with the industry that people a little bit forget just how
Yeah.
much influence they actually have. And that's one thing that I am such a huge proponent of is advocacy. We need to be involved. We need to actually find the associations, the alliances that we agree with. We need to lend our voices to them because that is how we change this industry. It is strength in numbers. So find the one that actually resonates with you, get involved with it, become an advocate, use your voice within this industry to do some good. We need it right now. We need
Yeah,
all
they
the
provide a
advocates
lot
we
of
can get.
resources, educational resources, just to help you outside of CE. And again, you and I are obviously fans, but check it out. If you're a loan officer listening to this and you're like, wow, I didn't know the MBA would help me as a loan officer, just frontline, taking applications, being in the mix of it every day. They really do have a lot of great resources to help loan officers advance their career. And this new program they're launching, I'm very excited to see where it goes and to see how it enriches loan officers and makes us all better in the industry. Because as a whole, I think that at any time in history, I think the crash was part of that. I think this new challenge, of inflation and all of these things have challenged loan officers to have to be better, to have to be more scrappier, to have to learn more and know more programs. Like you said, that one in Pennsylvania, I mean, they're having to dig a little deeper. And so education is going to be so key to that, to learn programs, products, and those niche programs like you just talked about, I think is phenomenal. So where do you see the industry heading? How's AI impacting your new business? I assume that it helped you get launched faster than it would have maybe the last time around. So let's talk about that.
A couple of thoughts. So, yes, AI is definitely revolutionizing everything and everything within this industry. We can accomplish so much more as a three-person team than I had when I was with two companies ago. I had like a 30-person team that I'm like, oh no, we're blowing them out of the water. And part of that too is the women that I have on my team. They are just powerhouses within and of themselves. They are the ones fueling the AI to make it do what we need it to do so that we can move so quickly, which has just been huge. And yes, massive for helping us to get off the ground so much faster. It does. I mean, it's tough. I'm in between right now. I'm like, you caught me on kind of a mindset shift kind of day with it, where I'm like, okay, wait a second. We have the jobs numbers right now, and we aren't seeing that AI is completely taking everything over, but we're also kind of in the infancy stage of it. So how much more is it going to do, and in what amount of time? I don't know. I'm in the in between right now. And I think because it is such a volatile market, there is so much happening right now behind the scenes where we're having this constant teeter tottering. I'm like, can we just chill for just a
Yeah,
minute?
I say,
Nothing would make me
I
happier.
go, can race just be normal? Can race just be normal? I mean, come on. But
Yeah.
I think that is how we handle it. There's still somebody that turns 18 every day that needs a home. We're still short homes in America. I think it's phenomenal that you're finding programs that help people that are struggling, help keep their homes. I think that's key. And I think AI, to your point, it will help consumers because, like you said, you used to have a team of 30, so maybe education costs more. Now you have a team of three. Well, that's less expensive. So I think that ultimately, once we get things rolling, we will see a benefit to the consumer at the end of the day. How it impacts us, security, all of those things have to play. But I do think overall, we will find a balance there between the humanness of this business, because that's still critical, and the tech of the business, but I think that if companies and loan officers aren't aware of what's happening, I think that they will be a little bit in the cold, because they need to be preparing themselves and learning as they go along so that they can be cutting edge, because that's what's going to be. I mean, I just think that's what's coming.
Agreed completely. It is so nice when you have the convenience of being able to just chat with a quick chat bot and see what type of answers you can get back. But I had a situation yesterday where, like, literally I hit the extent of what the chatbot could help me with, and it turned into exactly that of like, please have a human call me. So there will always be that we need to keep that human element. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there too. We have baby boomers who are going to want to either be downsizing or figuring out what they want to do by way of asset splitting. I don't really see them wanting to correspond with a chatbot to get their loan done. I see them wanting a person. So there is still plenty of opportunity. Now is the time to just start really finding your niche, finding how you want to differentiate yourself from your competition, and then double down on it. If technology is your thing, go all in on technology. But if you prefer more of kind of that boutique, personalized human experience, go all in on that. It doesn't mean that you can't have some bridges back and forth between the two. Just find the one that works for you and make money off of it.
Absolutely. Great advice. I think that you have to find what works for you. Somebody could read my book and say, I read Mandi's playbook and I'm going to implement some of this, but I'm going to do it with my, flavor, and I'm going to do it with my sass or intelligence or whatever, and I'm going to put my own spin on it, because that's when the magic happens. That's when you stay consistent with processes and procedures. Let's circle back to education, because I'm licensed in 40 states. So I'm one of those nice humans that has to take a ton of education every year.
That's so much.
So besides, checking a box, what do you think knowledge and education providers should be providing loan officers outside of just checking their license box, if that makes sense?
Yes, no, it makes total sense. This is an area that really does have my heart, and where I think I'm going to set myself apart from some of my competitors. When we do education, we have to follow a framework of approved topics that we can pick from. I have had classes of mine turned down because they were too avant-garde. I don't love that. I want to be able to provide different products and resources to you as LO, so that you know where to turn to, so you have different ideas, so you feel inspired. But I also really like keeping my providership, so I have to follow those rules. So we're going to take a different approach in that we will have continuing education. You're going to be checking boxes, y'all. I'm sorry. There's only so much I can do about it. The good news is you do get to take it with me, and I can be pretty fun on occasion. And then we'll have professional development. And professional development is where I really see that bridge coming together of what we want you to know, so that you can actually improve your business, so you can actually make more money, so you can help more borrowers. That's that missing component. That's kind of where I have some trade secrets, if you will, that are going to come into the picture, where I'm like, okay, these ideas that were a little too crazy for NMLS approved courses, I'm putting them here. They can't tell me no there. They're going in that other box.
Yeah, I found that learners are earners. And when that taper tantrum, I call it, with the interest rates of 2022, or rates went up like 2 points in a month or 2 months, I can't remember now. It doesn't really matter. But I found that if I needed to learn how to sell differently, I needed to learn how to present opportunities to customers differently. And so I went and found, props to Mortgage Marketing Animals. I went out and saw Carl White, and he and his team do a fantastic job. And I learned a lot from them. They have a lot of great content and a lot of great tips for getting back to the basics, right? And that is totally in my book, what I talk about a lot is getting back to the basics. And what I learned in interviewing all of these top professionals all over the country is that there are three things that set them apart. And they're boring, they're not sexy, they're not fun. It's consistent systems and processes that make them
100%.
different and make them stay in the game when the game is hard, the game is easy. You know, both present challenges, right? If you're in a refinance market, you're overwhelmed with product and loans and all of the opportunities and blessings in your life, and you have to learn, you know, those processes, procedures, and systems that you put in place, and the consistency are everything. And on the flip side, when you get slow, that's when you can refine those and make a difference. And that's what I've seen about great loan officers is they do exactly that. So what you're speaking of is just really learners or earners is so important, I think, as a 30-year veteran in this mortgage space that have helped me year after year be a top performer in this business is because I do care about the education I get. I do want to be a sponge and take it all in. And I love that you're providing outside of that, you know, required knowledge, you're giving professional development and ideas of ways loan officers can continue to build their business. Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It is something that I thought so much about because I've seen that gap within the industry. And one of the trainings that I'll be putting out is on soft skills, which is something that I think a lot of people have started overlooking out of, I hate to say laziness, but a little bit out of laziness when we had such a flood of deals coming our way. It was so easy to just crank things out, respond quickly to an email, shoot off a quick text, pass it along to a different team member, whatever the case was. And a lot of those soft skills got lost along the way. I really want a return to that. And it is something that is so simple, but with a little bit of refinement, just like what you were saying, you can change a conversation so quickly. You can change a customer experience so quickly just based on that. Learners are earners. Mandi, I am stealing that. I will credit you with it, but I love that. That is so good. That is so good.
Yeah, I think that, and we have to be humble and willing to learn when I think as with your seasoned knowledge of the industry, you're still learning to be a better provider at 15 years in the CE space, and you're still learning and to be a better service provider so that loan officers learn more and go out in the field and do better. And I, as a loan officer, feel like I have to continue to learn because, gosh, we just hit on AI. I mean, if you are going to be the resident resource then for your customers, then you better have the knowledge behind you, and that you know you better be a student of the business so that when those challenges come up and when a customer goes to AI, I think that you need to be able to respond in kind and be able to understand what they're talking about and answer those questions. And so fantastic that you agree with me. And yes, learners are earners. So you work with lots of loan officers. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see them making when it comes to professional development, and how can they avoid whatever those mistakes are?
I think we just covered the biggest one, complacency. People get
Yes.
so complacent that they think, okay, well, this is what I know. This is the types of loans. And then when their pipelines dry up because the market shifted, there's that confusion of like, well, wait a second. I've been nurturing, I've been doing the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing. But if you're not differentiating yourself, another one, actually, now that I'm saying this, so many people are so afraid of showing up. They get so afraid of putting themselves out there. And that is where consumers are looking for you. They are, unless you're in, again, the reverse mortgage side of things. And even them,
Hey,
they're
my mom's
picking up.
75 and she's really savvy on tech, right? I'm like, wow, mom, go mom. Yeah. So
That's
I
it.
think that, you know, there is maybe a thought process that you don't have as many seniors. Like, gosh, but I think, you know, see, they're even online. So to your point, yeah, putting yourself out there, and you put yourself out there in a big way by being an educator. Everybody's going to know who you are. And you kind of have to be okay with that, right? And my husband gave me some awesome advice once, and I hated it for the longest time, but I think it's phenomenal. Other people's opinion of you is none of your business. And you know, I was like, I hated that because I was like, no, I do care. I really do. And I think that empowered me to just be my authentic self, put myself out there. And if you want to scroll through, you know,
Scroll through.
but I do think that that's great advice, is put yourself out there, right?
You have to. Right now is the time. And we know social media isn't going anywhere. It's only expanding. Yes, there's a lot of competition out there, but just be you, be your authentic self. People will resonate with you. And don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to. Sometimes I think people are like, well, I have nothing new to say. I have nothing new to add to it. Okay, so what? Just repeat it. It doesn't matter. Maybe someone likes the tone of your voice better than the other person, and their algorithm found you for a reason. So take that fear out of it. Put yourself out there. I'm with you. I'm such a control freak when it comes to like pictures and things like that. So when students take pictures of me and I'm like, oh God, you could not have caught me from a worse angle, I've had to just be like, oh well. Oh well,
Oh,
put
well.
it out there. Oh well, that is what it is. And there's such an inundation of it. It disappears quickly. Just keep it consistent.
So you have such a brilliant mind for abundance in your life. And I think you just hit on something that is so key for loan officers, is when the pipeline dries up, there's a lot of scarcity mindset, like fear of not having enough or fear of losing that deal. And when you're, in my opinion, when you're basing your business on that, things get really rough. Now, if you're based on, hey, I lost a transaction, trust me, 30 years in the business, I still don't like losing deals. But with that said, I know that if I do the right things and I treat people right, and I work in this industry, and my reputation is solid and I hang my hat on that, the loss of one transaction does not mean that I'm not going to get the next one. And I call it a pipeline problem, right? You just need more loans in your pipeline, friends. You just need more ups to take away the scarcity. But what's your advice for loan officers out there that maybe don't have that abundant mindset? How do you get there, and how would you encourage others?
I think you kind of nailed it. You find your authenticity. If you know that you are showing up as your best and you are doing everything that you can to make sure that a deal goes smoothly and it still falls apart, if you can look yourself in the mirror and say, like, I did everything I could. My systems are refined. It fell apart because it fell apart. Life happens. But if it's the flip side of that, and you're going, okay, wait a second. No, they're right. I wasn't as responsive as I should have been. I didn't keep the agent informed. I wasn't really considering other programs for them. I didn't even know this other program exists. If that's the problem, you need to take a look in the mirror and decide what type of LO you want to show up as. And then again, go become a learner, because that is where the process will refine itself. As you learn more, as you start to implement different structures, you'll see that reward come back. And that is something that I have to work on myself. And you better believe now, if I lose a deal, I'm like, that's on me. I'm the one who lost it. That's my bad. And so it helps to reframe your mind to become the best version of you that you can be, so that you don't have to have that conversation with yourself.
Yeah, so Locked In Learning will also provide, in addition to the CE, you are going to provide courses on professional development that will help in that situation where they're like, I don't know how to overcome objections, or I'm not confident on the phone, or I don't love making cold calls. I mean, let's talk about that side, because I find that fascinating. I find that to be, maybe your unique value proposition is that even outside of the education space that we're all got to check the box on, you're going to provide this next level. And let's talk about that, because I think that's huge. And I don't think there's enough opportunity for loan officers to learn on that side of
I
things.
agree. I agree. And I think that comes back again to kind of that complacency of thinking that you know everything, thinking that you've seen it all, thinking, or maybe you're new and you're fresh and so you don't even know where to begin. Just starting somewhere really does make such a huge difference. And it's 2026. The world is so abundant. There are so many free resources out there for you. There are so many incredible creators who are taking their time to help to bring information to you, who are literally giving away their secrets for free. You just have to spend your time to go listen to them. And you're telling me that's too much to ask? Like, I'm sorry, you need to figure something else out, because there really is so much opportunity out there. There are
Yeah, for
so many
99
different.
cents, you can get the book. You can get the
That's
ebook
what
for
I'm
99
saying.
cents, friends. I'm fairly certain that it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, but I'm fairly certain I drink tea, so I know it's cheaper than tea.
Girl, I hear you. I hear you. That's the thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, there are books. I'm sorry, you might have to read. Get used to it. You may have to listen to a podcast. Habit stack. That has become one of my ultimate hacks as I now habit stack. I'm listening to professional development podcasts as I'm working out, as I'm preparing dinner. You're not losing your time. You're gaining that investment in yourself. And yes, there are going to have to be times where maybe you have to put off scrolling on TikTok and having that brain dopamine hit. I'm sorry. Sorry. Is it worth
Yeah, there's
it?
only so many hours in
Yes.
the day. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I have become such a big believer, and it's become this little mantra with myself of saying to myself, like, no, I do know how to maximize my time. I do know how to stretch and make my time abundant. I do know how to fit and compress everything that I can into the time that I have. That is in and of itself a mindset shift that I think people can develop for themselves, of just understanding we all have the same amount of hours within the day, but what you do within it, that part is up to you. And you can be more productive. I promise you, you can. You just have to find the way that it resonates for you, and you will want to do it. It will become that replacement for scrolling on Instagram when you all of a sudden start to feel yourself become better and you get to actually watch your life change because of those habits that you're implementing.
How are you staying organized? You hit on something that a lot of people struggle with in any industry, honestly. And I think even those of us that I live and die by my calendar. I'm like, what is happening today?
Me too.
But I think that those that are struggling don't have enough on their calendar, right? They're just kind of pushing paper around the desk and feeling busy, but they're not doing the productive activities. And you mentioned it, hey, we all get the same 24 hours a day. We're all blessed with that opportunity. But how do you stay organized, right? Because you're cramming a lot into a short period of time. You're newly single, a single mom. I know, I've been there. That was a whole new thing for me. That created its own set of challenges as far as my schedule went. And then in addition to that, because your daughter does not drive, I'm assuming at 13, and so your first job is taxi driver, but in addition to that, you've created this new business. So you've had no excuses. You've reconciled to yourself that I'm going to succeed. And so how are you staying organized? I think that a lot of people struggle with that.
I agree. I agree. You mentioned it. I live and die by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So everything goes into that calendar. And then making sure that I'm more I'm more tuned into the outcome than the process of how I'm getting there. So, for example, I think so many people get up in the morning and they're like, if my day does not go exactly this way, then I've blown it. No, there's so much flexibility within a day that you need to be able to just figure out what works for you. If you're a person who needs to time block, take the time, invest in yourself, time block your calendar, but then hold yourself accountable to it. It's going to take you as long as it's going to take you for it to become a habit. I know that there's all sorts of numbers out there of 28 days, 61 days. No, it's whatever it takes for it to become a habit for you. So if that works for you, make that work for you. But if you're trying it and you're like, oh, now I just feel like a failure because I'm not following my habit stacking calendar. Take it out. Try something else. Maybe you need more flexibility. Maybe you need soft mornings to really get your day and your head right. Maybe you need to work late at night. Maybe you need to work, your optimal time is from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. That's okay. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It really is just figuring out what works best for you, but then you have to be accountable for that. And you have to set the expectations to the people around you of, hey, look, this is my best time to get work done. If you see a message from me at this time, just know I don't expect you to respond to it. This is just when it's optimal for me. Create that expectation around you. People will respect it. And if anything, you may inspire them to say, like, you know what? I like that. That actually works for me too. And then all of a sudden it becomes this very reciprocal energy where everyone is just getting done what they need to get done because they're doing what works best for them.
I think a couple of tips there for loan officers. Pick something that you won in today. Like pick something that you won in and celebrate that win, because this business is a marathon. It feels like a marathon built on many, many sprints. But I think that pick something that you won at today, because in order to show up tomorrow and be that your best self. And maybe, like you said, maybe the day didn't go as well as you wanted, but don't drag the crap of today to tomorrow. Take something from today that you won at, celebrate the win, and then go to tomorrow. The other thing is like you said, if you're a person that likes to work late, I'm a night owl, and I don't love morning, so I have to find my balance there. But I'll do a delayed text, so you can actually send text and then put them to send for later, right? So if you don't want to be texting somebody at 10 o'clock at night, but you think of something and you're like, I need to text an agent or another loan officer or that borrower or whatever, do a delayed text to send it the next day, and do it when you're going to be awake. So that they are on your schedule, but you're respecting their timeline, as far as not doing it at 11 o'clock at night. But I think there's a couple tips there. Win the day, find something that you found in your day that you can chalk up as a win, because like you said, sometimes the day gets away from you and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, that did not go as planned, but I really did crush this. And then I'm going to refine it and really take that checklist I had for today and figure out a way to add it to your calendar tomorrow. That's how I survive in this business, because this business does throw curveballs quite frequently.
I love that. You're so right. And another thing that I just live off of is momentum builds momentum. You have to have action in some place if you expect to feel it in another. Do some work. Do something that makes you feel productive and watch as the energy around you shifts once there is some movement. Getting that stagnant energy kind of out of there, it's amazing how quickly it comes right back. So I love that. Celebrate your wins. It can get real hard sometimes. You got to find them where you can find them. But then take that moment, be really appreciative for them. Have that little, again, not to be that person, but like have your gratitude journal. Have that thing at the end of the day that you're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, this went really right. And give yourself that win, because that's going to give you more wins in return.
I'm so grateful for you to be on the podcast today. I love that you're a strong woman in the mortgage space, right on. And I love that you took a chance on yourself. You bet on you. You bet on your knowledge, your ability to create this company. I love that you have two strong women that support you. I have an amazing team that help me with my loan production, because if not, I wouldn't be able to be here with you today. And so I love that you're empowering other women to do great things in the mortgage space, because women like you build great legacy and empower other women to be more than they thought they could. And so my gratitude goes to you for that, because we need more people like you in the industry. And so I wish you the very, very best with your new company. I'm very excited for all the opportunities that you've been presented because you worked your tail off. So congratulations. And I'll be looking for great things, and I'll see you at the MBA.
Thank you so much, Mandi.